Good morning, everyone. Well, good morning to most of you. Good evening to those of you down under, and good afternoon to everyone in between. I think that covers everybody. All right, it's 11:46 in the AM here in the UK, and we've had a few nice days. We've had a few nice spring days, and we're back to rain this morning. Oh dear, it can't go on many days without rain, but it has stopped now, so dear me. Okay, so welcome everybody. Hello, Angie baby, unindicted co-conspirator. Greetings all, and thank you for joining. Thank you for becoming a secret agent. And Purple AJ has hopped in before the streams even started with 10 gifted memberships. You are so kind. Superstar. Right, who's got them? Robert Catcher Tutu, Vicky, Ralph the Blind Pug, Amy, Christina, Dog Defender, Solo Sock, Emily, and 0723 Trinity. So thank you so much, and you guys get 1 month's free membership courtesy of Purple AJ. Hello, Jean, Jackie, Renee, trust but document. Yeah, preach it. Absolutely trust but document. Lisa, oh, we've got a jump here. And yeah, all right. Lots of people coming in. 6:46 AM in Kentucky. Leave your DNA on that thumbs up button. Yes, please do. It helps it in the algorithm. It's not just to massage my ego. It does help boost the videos up in the algorithm if you click a like. Hi from Shropshire. 5:47 in MS. Is that Mississippi? 8:47 PM in Australia. There you go. Happy Saturday night to you guys down under. I've been thinking it's Wednesday. Since I got up this morning, I was thinking it's Wednesday. And then I was like literally shocked when I opened my computer and saw that it was Saturday. But yeah, may the 4th be with you. Yorkshire in the house. 6:48 in Somerwells Land. 8:18 AM in Newfoundland, Canada. 8:18, is it? What, are you like a half? That's confusing. Mr. Tomato Head, thank you so much. Gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, thank you. Who's got those? Manchester Vicky, Rhonda, Genzigo, Screaming Inside, aren't we all? And Riley's Nanny. Welcome, welcome. You guys get a month's free membership courtesy of Mr. Tomato Head. Thank you so much. Very kind. Munich, Germany. Houston, Texas. Happy Star Wars Day, yeah? May the 4th be with you. All right, without further ado. So I wanted to come live rather than do a recorded video today. A few days ago, I said that, you know, this case, because it's moving so fast and there's so many kind of conflicting things going on and just all sorts, new interviews. I thought every few days I'm going to do a live, and if there's anything that you've misunderstood in any of my videos, I can clear that up. It's easier to clear it up live. We can have a chat, answer questions, but there are quite a few things I want to go through as well. So starting off with the Amber Alert. He's still missing, guys. Sebastian Rogers, 15, white male, brown hair, brown eyes, 5'5", just under 120 pounds. Last seen wearing a black t-shirt, long sleeve top with some kind of motif on it, and black sweatpants with white stripes. Now, the YouTuber Terry Lynn did find a pair of pants, like track pants, sweatpants, matching that description in a creek a few days ago. But just for anybody who's missed it, they were confirmed not to be Sebastian's by Sumner County Sheriff's Office. So good find. Absolutely, the kind of thing we want to see, actual searches going on, finding any kind of evidence at all that could be connected to Sebastian. And Terry Lynn did exactly the right thing, didn't touch them, called the cops, had to wait for a cop to actually turn up who would wade into the creek because the first guy that turned up wouldn't get in. Didn't want to crease his pants. Oh no. Can you just roll your pants up? And anyhow, they are confirmed not to be Sebastian's. But keep trying, because you never know. You never know. I don't know exactly where the location was. I'm assuming the creek is Drake's Creek, but I mean it's long. It runs all the way kind of south and joins the Cumberland River. So I don't know whereabouts on that route it was, but not Sebastian's. So there's that. The sighting in North Carolina, though, was still waiting for any form of clarification from law enforcement. So I want to talk about that a little bit. Before we get into it, I also want to play just a few minutes from the Crime Lines and Lies live stream from yesterday. They've been talking to neighbours, and the neighbours have been saying some not so nice things about Chris. So I want to play a few minutes of that. Seagate One, thank you for joining. Welcome to the Secret Agents Club. So kind of you. I know, can't believe this poor boy is missing and no one saw anything. I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. But before, I'm going to play Crime Lines and Lies first. Then I'm going to get into the North Carolina stuff, playing a few minutes from the Pascal Show from last night. The Seth was on, and the new spokesperson for the family was on as well, someone called Tony Mathis. So he sounds knowledgeable, head screwed on. I liked what I heard from Tony. So I'm going to play a few minutes of that, and I'm also going to talk anyway. Let's start off, though, with this. This is on the PI's Facebook, and this is tomorrow. So I do have a lot of people who follow my channel from Tennessee, because I've covered all of these cases, both on this channel and also on Michelle Walks. And tomorrow, Sunday, May the 5th, there's an initiative called Flyers for 4 Initiative, publicising these 4 missing people. So Sebastian, Summer Wells, Holland Snap, and Layla Santinello. Covered all of these cases. Summer Wells, of course, has been missing since June 15th, 2021. We're almost at 3 years for Summer. Little Summer, who was only 5 when she went missing. She'd now be 8 years old. If she's still alive somewhere, she's now 8. Otherwise, she's sadly forever 5. Holland, 19 years of age, been missing since last October. The fearing foul play. But there's been no charges, no suspects named or anything like that in the case. But SF Investigates, who is called Steve Fisher, he is been working as a private investigator for Holland's case and also for Layla's case. So he's been posting that they do suspect foul play, but nothing from the police. And then Layla has been missing almost a year now. Last June, she went missing. So just 20 years old, now 21, she'll be nearly 22. She's got a little girl who's been missing her mother for nearly a year. So all 4 cases disappeared without a trace. Without a trace. Where are they all? So join us if you're in East Tennessee. Sunday, May the 5th, they're planning to cover East Tennessee with flyers for all 4, Holland, Summer, Sebastian, and Layla. The place to meet anytime after 9 a.m. is Fred Johnson Park, which is 1630 Fort Henry Drive in Kingsport. Holland and Layla both went missing from Kingsport. And Summer was in Kingsport the day she disappeared, but we do think she made it home. She was living about 25 minutes, 30 minutes away from Kingsport. So Kingsport is the place to be tomorrow if you're in East Tennessee. And if you want to donate flyers or you want any more information, you can contact Trev Time. Trev Time's a YouTuber who's been doing a lot of work for Sebastian, but also Summer, Cases in his area. He's in East Tennessee. So trevtime2023@gmail.com, or you can call 423-250-3163 if you want any more information. What's going on in Tennessee? No idea. No idea what's going on in Tennessee. Trevor Lee organised, yeah. Trev Time. So his name's Trevor Lee, but Trev Time on YouTube has organised it. So that's been publicised by the PIs. Trev Time's very genuine. So if you're in East Tennessee and you can, share, spare a couple of hours, if you can't make it to that event, then of course, get your flyers. You can download them from the TBI and pepper your own area. Flyers do work. People think, oh, it's just lazy putting out flyers. They do work. I know 100% absolutely they work because of a case that happened, a friend of a friend. I've told you this story before. And I peppered the entire area with flyers, and one of those flyers met the right pair of eyes, and he was found. So they work. They do work. And it just takes one person who knows something, who's prepared to, or in a position to, move the case that little bit forward. And, where foul play's suspected can absolutely break the case wide open. So very, very useful, and anybody can do it. It's not like you have to be really fit or know anything about search strategy. You can literally get some flyers and pepper your own area with them. So hopefully, quite a few people turn up and support this event. So it's for Holland, Summer, Sebastian, and Layla. Tomorrow, anytime after 9 a.m., Fred Johnson Park, which is 1634 Fort Henry Drive in Kingsport. And Trev Times details are there if you want any more information or you want to email flyers. All right. Okay. I'm going to play you a little bit from this. So this is Crime Lines and Lies. This is from yesterday. Brooks from Crime Lies and Lies. She does live streams every day, sometimes not weekends, but she covers a wide range of cases. I don't always agree with what, Brooks' analysis of a case. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but that's good. But I do like her channel. It always gives me food for thought, the stuff she puts out. Now, her and someone called Chloe have been speaking to several neighbours on Stafford Court, so where Sebastian lives. They did play a recorded phone call from one of the neighbours who knew he was being recorded. So they weren't, recording him secretly and then putting it on the internet. I'm not going to play that. I'm going to play you about 8 minutes of a summary that they put together right at the beginning of the live stream. And this is from like a collection of neighbours. So they're just summarising what a collection. I think they've spoken to 3 neighbours. One of them absolutely does not want to go on record. One of them did and was happy for them to record. And then there's another neighbour. But I think they said 3 neighbours on Stafford Court. Do I know if Katie was adopted? I talked about Katie's alleged family history yesterday in my video. So I got all as much as I can find. And I can't discount the things that are being said about her family history, but I also can't prove it. So go and watch yesterday's video. Abuse charges should be filed for the pressure washer incident if it's true. You see, this is the thing. I mean, there's no reason why these neighbours should lie, but we have seen it in other cases, you know, specifically the Summer Wells case, when neighbours come out speaking, they may be doing it in a very well-meaning way, but can we believe everything? I'm not sure. So I'm on the fence. I'm not trying to disprove what these neighbours are saying. It could well be true. You know, if anybody knows you better than your neighbours, you know. But I absolutely believe that the neighbours don't get on well with Chris. That's one thing I can believe, just by the way that he is online. Now, obviously, you know, he's in a very difficult position. He might feel, you know, he's got to defend himself. He has been quite defensive, but he gets angry. He gets angry very quickly. So I can believe the fact that the neighbours don't get on with him. The fact he's on his fifth wife suggests that he's not the easiest guy to get on with. Let's be honest about it. But I am going to play you just, I'm going to start it about 5 minutes in, and just going to play you a few minutes of this, because this is just the summary of the things that neighbours have been telling them. Yeah, one of the things is a pressure washer, that Chris sprayed Sebastian with a pressure washer so that he would have a meltdown. It's just insane. All right. Okay. I'm going to play a few minutes. I'm going to stop it, and let's see what you think about it. Are they even neighbours or just random people making stuff up? That's always an issue. Now, I'm assuming that Brooks and this Chloe, by the way, is not the PI. There is a PI called Chloe, but this is not her. So this is another Chloe. I'm assuming that they've actually vetted these people, that they've actually confirmed that they are neighbours. But yeah, there's always that possibility that at least one of them might be somebody who is just making stuff up. There's always that. So I am taking it with a grain of salt, but also I'm not here to try to disprove it either. I'm just saying it's interesting. So let me know the sound's all right. The sound's reasonably up on my end. Turn it up a bit more. There we go.
Was outside and he had a pressure washer.
I thought that was awful.
And let's elaborate on that.
Okay.
Because I mean, not everybody was on the phone call.
Yes.
Chris Proudfeet was outside and he had a pressure washer and he was spraying down the fifth wheel. Sebastian came outside, I guess, wanting to do outside things. And he started screaming at him, cussing him out, and he hosed him down with the pressure washer. Now, I don't know about you guys, but those things hurt. We use them to clean off the house. We have to turn it down to low just to wash a car because they'll take the paint off of a car. All right, go ahead, Chloe. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, no, that's what I was going to say. So that scenario right there really, really bugged me. The fact that a couple of the questions that I asked, I don't know, because you asked so many questions, but like the fact was Chris Proudfoot really gone that whole month? Like he says he was. And he said, and we were told no.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the neighbours are claiming that Chris was at the house for part of February. He said, obviously, we've all heard that Chris said he was away from the beginning of February. But one of the neighbours, the neighbour actually who agreed to be recorded, said that he knew someone who worked at the Texas Roadhouse and they saw Chris with Sebastian and Katie 2 weeks previous. So 2 weekends before Sebastian disappeared, which would put it at, hold on, let me get my calendar. So the weekend of, so Sebastian went missing on the 26th. So it would have been the weekend of the 10th or 11th of February. So that is the beginning end of February. So it's actually possible that when he said he's not been back since early February, that was the last time he was home, like the 10th, 11th of February. I don't know. But apparently at the Texas Roadhouse, one of the staff witnessed Chris kicking off because Sebastian had done something. I don't know what Sebastian had supposedly done. But the pressure washer thing, I mean, if that's true, that's a horrible thing to do. Horrible. Now, he might not have sprayed him like, full on in the face, or he might have sprayed it down at his feet just to get him wet. I don't know. But it is something that a neighbour would witness because obviously it's outside. So, like I said, I'm not here to say that they're lying. I'm not here to say that these neighbours have got together or just random people on the internet are saying a load of stuff. It's quite a specific thing to say, to make up. But I could believe it, honestly. Horrible. But I don't know. But I obviously can't prove it. So taking it with a grain of salt. But not nice.
And that was a big question for me too, because that's something I've never really believed or knew if I believed. He only spoke about Sebastian as Katie's son. He never called him his son to anyone else, or even his stepson. Mm-hmm. And we've heard how he speaks about him as he's my son, like those sort of things. Just kind of debunking a lot of confirming a lot of the behavior and actions we've seen by Chris Prophet, and then debunking some of the things that we've all known were lies. Don't you think?
Well, because, no, you're exactly right. Because he's only trying to convince people now because Sebastian is missing. And there's a lot to go through. Now, we've had 3 different neighbors. We had a long conversation with one yesterday that said, no, normally he would cut out of work early on Thursday and then leave out either Sunday night or early Monday morning. And the pressure washer thing happened in February. My question is, and don't get me wrong, some people say, well, February is too cold. You have a lot of nice temperatures in February. It's like a baby spring.
And that was the case when I checked the weather for February in Hendersonville. It was cold for most of February, but the weekend Sebastian went missing, it was actually really warm, for the time of year. It was like very spring-like temperatures, not the 20 degrees that people have been claiming. Now, a few days before he went missing, it was cold, and then it dropped cold again from the 27th or 28th. So the 26th, 27th were warm. It was like 55 degrees at night. That's at night. That's the coldest temperature. It got into the high 60s, early 70s in the day on the 26th into the 27th. So there were a few nice days in February. So this neighbour who's claiming the pressure washer thing said that happened in February. So I don't know whether that was the weekend that Chris was home. So if it's true that somebody saw him at the Texas Roadhouse, like one of the staff remembers seeing them at the Texas Roadhouse and Chris kicking off and leaving, it could have been the same weekend. So it might be that he'd not been home for, since like the 10th or 11th. But we have seen from the PIs that they have confirmed that Chris was in the RV park on the Sunday into the Monday that Sebastian disappeared. So I'm not unduly concerned if Chris was home on the 10th or 11th. That doesn't concern me really. what would concern me is if it came out that he lied about his whereabouts on the Sunday into the Monday that Sebastian disappeared. That would be a massive red flag if he'd lied about that day. But the PIs said that they can confirm he was at the RV park all night. He was at the job site from 5:15 a.m. on Monday the 26th, and he only got home in the afternoon. So in terms of his whereabouts at the key time, the time that Sebastian disappeared, I do believe that he wasn't home. I don't know. I don't know why some weekends he didn't come home. I don't know why. Was he working on wife number 6? Were Katie and Chris at loggerheads? Was their marriage on the rocks? Possibly. Oh, thank you, Mike, for the $20. That's very kind of you. Thank you so much. And Miles gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much, Miles. Your local grandmummy, Jackie, Pinchot, and Caitlin. Welcome. Get monthly free membership courtesy of Miles to Go. Thank you. Very kind. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Miles. Right, there's a little bit more. And honestly, I can believe Chris, when Sebastian is being badly behaved, I can see him distancing himself. So, so saying to neighbours, oh, that's Katie's son. If he's mad with Sebastian. I don't know. As I said, taking it with a grain of salt, but, keeping it there in the back of my mind. Right, a little bit more. Let's listen.
Anyway, why that one weekend was Mr. Proudfeet away?
Right. And why lie about it and say that you've been away for a month, which has made us all suspicious of that in the first place?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Why was Seth alienated for a month?
Exactly.
Okay. It was said by one of the neighbors that Chris Proudfoot, when asked about Sebastian, of course, we know that he would kind of pick on him. I'll put it that way. He said at school, they call him Mr. Piss Pants. That's the reason Sebastian wore a pull-up. When one neighbor was asking about Sebastian.
Kids can be incredibly cruel, obviously. Kids can be incredibly cruel. And if Sebastian was wetting himself, then he's in a mainstream school. So you can imagine, can't you? But if they found out he was wearing a pull-up, I would imagine that's just as bad as wetting yourself. Yeah, I am going to play a little bit from the Pascal Show from the interview with Seth and Tony. I'm going to play that next.
He said, that's Katie's retard.
Oh, man. I hate that word. I hate that word so much. I really do. Could we believe Chris would say that? Possibly.
Now, that really, really upset me.
Yeah, me too. I mean, how disrespectful and disgusting to speak like that. It breaks my heart.
And I don't believe for a minute that the neighbors are making it up. And it's 10 times worse than we even thought. Sebastian.
No, I don't think the neighbours are making it up. As long as Brooks and Chloe have vetted that these people are actually neighbours. I mean, do they hate Chris so much that they would make stuff up? They know that this is being talked about at length on YouTube. They've seen the footage. They know that there's a lot of publicity in the case. Is it possible that the neighbours would, you know, say, right, well, we hate him. We want him gone. You know, we want him to leave. He's he's not conducive to, you know, a nice neighborhood. You know, he's shouting and bawling at people. The neighbor that spoke on the phone said that the neighborhood would have barbecues, you know, like at each other's houses, and they never invited Chris. The one time he was invited to an event, he got drunk and became like leery and loud. So they don't invite him. So I could get it. I can see that. I really can see that. I bet he's really difficult to live with, and I bet he's really difficult to be around. We've seen what he's like. I can't imagine that he's like, you know, one personality online, even though he has kind of felt backed into a corner and he's defensive and he's come out fighting. But that's him. That's his personality. So there's anything he doesn't agree with, or a neighbor that he's got a dispute about, you can imagine him being really loud, and you can just see that. So is it possible that the neighbors have got together and said, right, we know that these people are talking on YouTube, let's make up some stories? Is it possible? Yes. Is it likely? I don't think so. I think probably there's more truth in it than there's exaggeration. There's one thing that I'm not sure about, but that's coming up soon.
Likes to eat things like sushi, tofu, things like that. And so one time, now mind you, Chris Proudfoot was never invited. Well, he was once, okay?
Yes.
To a neighborhood picnic. Let's talk about that, Chloe.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. We should definitely explain that. So Chris Proudfoot was disliked by the neighbors so much to the point where when they had neighborhood cookouts and stuff, they did not invite him. He was only invited one time. And he was aggressive and not nice to anybody. So nobody wanted him around. And then, yeah, you tell him what he said about Sebastian. It's horrible.
He even said to one of the neighbors when Child Protective Services was, coming around, he said to Katie, where people could hear it, he goes or I go.
Mm-hmm.
Their last visit, he said, this marriage is not going to work out. Well, go figure. He hasn't had a marriage work out yet.
Yeah, right.
And they've roughly been there about 2 years. Because one of the neighbors we talked to yesterday said, we've been here for 13 years. He's like, I'm like 45 seconds, from the house. He's like, I walk by there all the time.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm hoping that they just sell the house and move. Because he's like, they've been here about 2 years. And his biggest complaint seemed to be about Chris Proudfoot.
And is it possible, again, like I just said, is it possible that these neighbors hate him so much that they're willing to speak to YouTubers and maybe exaggerate? Maybe not out and out lies, but maybe some exaggeration. Possible. Yes, absolutely possible. But the thing about the mattress, I'm not sure I believe this, but let's listen.
Absolutely. That was the main, everything he had to say, that person was about Chris. And it was it shed a lot of light onto his behavior.
Well, and he had an issue with things that Sebastian preferred to eat. One was sushi and tofu. And it was explained that Chris Proudfoot is very homophobic. And he would tell him, that's what faggots eat. That's why they were so hell-bent on the Texas Roadhouse. We'll get to that in a minute.
And I kind of can imagine Chris being really homophobic. I can, honestly. Does it mean he is? No. I can imagine it though. But to call a kid, homophobic slurs is just childish. If it's true, it's childish. Just nasty.
Yeah, I can't believe that you would even use that word. That is just a gross word to even use, in my opinion. And then to say that about food, come on. I love sushi. I mean, we all do. A lot of us. And eating healthy is something that was important to Sebastian's diet, in my assumption, due to his health-related issues. So, I don't know.
Well, and the thing is, I totally believe that Chris uses that word all the time, because when he contacted me about me saying words like moobs, and no ass, he called me a faggot.
That's right. That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
What are we going to do?
Dear me, it's just childish. Childish and hateful. Silly.
Now, the CPS engagement was not because
Right, mattress thing coming up. If you haven't heard this, mattress thing coming up.
of the belt whipping.
Mm-hmm.
It actually has to do with the mattress. All right, Chloe, this is a lot.
Yeah, this is.
So Chris took his mattress, Sebastian's, out of his room because he said, I'm sick of smelling piss, and put it in the garage. When Sebastian was talking about how he sleeps in the garage at school, CPS showed up and they actually asked the neighbors, have you seen this? Help me out here, Chloe, because that's a lot for me to digest.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot. It's a lot to even take in. Yeah, he asked, they asked other people and they confirmed, and a neighbor we talked to confirmed that he was made to sleep in the garage, and he had heard him yelling about smelling piss, is his words. And, you know, we all know that it was very cold there the night that he went missing. And think about the other nights leading up to that through the whole winter, that if he was made to sleep out there.
Okay. Now, Chris has confirmed that there was a mattress in the garage, and he explained it to be that he was given this mattress for his daughter, but the neighbours are saying that that's not true, and actually the mattress in the garage is Sebastian's mattress, and Chris put it in the garage because he was sick of Sebastian wetting the bed and the place smelling like piss. Well, if Sebastian was wearing a pull-up, how was there pee on the mattress anyway? Unless Sebastian was taking the pull-up off, which is possible. But how would the neighbours know that Sebastian was actually sleeping in the garage? Like, they might have heard Chris shouting, saying, you know, if you don't stop this pissing in your bed, you're going to sleep in the garage. And they might have witnessed him putting a mattress in the garage. They might well have done that. But does it mean that they actually made Sebastian sleep in the garage? That's the bit that I'm not sure about. How would the neighbours know? Exactly. Yes. Like, I've no idea what the sleeping arrangements of my neighbours are. I don't know what rooms they sleep in. So even if I heard my next door neighbour shouting and screaming at their child, you know, if you don't stop this, you're going to sleep in the shed, because next door neighbours don't have a garage. So you're going to sleep in the shed. Would I absolutely believe that child was then sleeping in the shed from then on? No, I wouldn't, unless I actually witnessed it myself. I could acknowledge that a threat had been made, but could I absolutely 100% confirm that child was sleeping in the shed? No, unless I saw it for my own self. And how would the neighbours know where Sebastian was sleeping every night? So it makes sense, given what we know about Sebastian, you know, wetting himself and wearing pull-ups. And we know that he didn't like wearing pull-ups, and maybe he did take the pull-ups off, and maybe he did wet the bed sometimes. But I don't know that I believe that the neighbours could confirm. They might suspect, but could they confirm that he was actually sleeping in the garage? Now, if he was sleeping, if they did, if it's true that they made him sleep in the garage, well, that absolutely explains why he would go walkabouts at night. You know, if you're in the garage and you know it's dark and you've got nothing to do and you can't sleep, then you're gonna go for a walk. So it absolutely would explain why he would go for a walk in the middle of the night. But do I believe it? I'm not sure that I believe that that's where Sebastian slept. where he actually slept. Now, this particular neighbour who told this story said that that was the reason why CPS was called. Would the neighbour know that? Well, the neighbour would know if they'd been told that. But if they don't get on with Chris, it's not like they're having like frequent conversations with him. But allegedly, according to this neighbour, the CPS were called not because of the belt incident. It was because Sebastian told his teacher that he was having to sleep in the garage. So maybe that's what they meant by when the CPS worker told Sebastian off for lying. I don't know. It's intriguing. Yeah, absolutely. CPS was called. We know that. We've heard from Chris himself that Sebastian told a teacher of stuff that was going on, and the CPS worker like told Sebastian off for lying. But is it that Sebastian was being made to sleep in the garage, even if it was just once, because he wet the bed and he told his teacher, and the teacher called CPS? Is it possible that happened just one night? Possible, yeah. But I don't know. I don't know if I believe that. Some of the other stuff I can believe. I absolutely can believe. But I'm not sure of how a neighbour would know that. Because it's not like the garage has windows that someone, would see him through a window. So I don't know. Keeping it on the back burner, but I'm not saying I believe it. Not that bit anyway. Telling the teacher is a sign for help. Yes. I mean, it's the way that Chris told the story about the CPS worker. If that's true, I don't think the CPS worker did their job very well. Because if a kid makes a claim, and it's one word against another, then you don't call the kid a liar, because you don't know what's true and what isn't. Some garage doors do have windows. Yeah, but the garage on the Proudfoot's house doesn't have windows. Hold on. Dare I show it? I'll get this video removed, but let's show it. All right, hold on. I'll zoom right in on the garage rather than the house. Okay. So there is a door there that has windows, but the garage itself, there's a window there. That would be the garage, wouldn't it? So there is a window. So there's a double garage, single garage. So there is a window. So maybe they saw him in there. I don't know. Don't know what to tell you on it. Don't know. Thank you, Sour Girl, for the $1.99. That's very kind of you. Very kind of you. Can't see pull-ups on this photo. Well, it was apparently Chris and Katie that were making him wear pull-ups. But when he was with Seth, he didn't wear pull-ups. He just wore like normal underwear. These garages are big. They do have windows. Yeah, so there was a window on the side. So the garage doors didn't have windows, but there is a window on the side. So it's possible they saw him in there. If the neighbours knew, why didn't they report it? Apparently they did. Apparently there had been calls to CPS. The pull-ups leak, do they? I've never worn one, so I don't know. So take it as you will. Choose to believe it or not. Like I said, I'm taking it with a grain of salt, but I'm not discounting it because I can't discount it. I can't disprove it, therefore I can't discount it. But if it's true, or even if some of it's true, based on what we've heard already, I think it gives a good rationale, a good motivation as to why Sebastian would run away. If he was, always shouted at and, Chris was angry with him and he just felt, beaten down, not literally, but, emotionally beaten down, then running away seems like thousands of kids run away to escape stuff that's going on in their house, whether it's physical abuse, sexual abuse, whatever. Thousands of children do that every year. Most of them come back home, some of them don't. And like I consistently have been saying, it might not be that Sebastian meant to run away forever. It meant he may have just gone for a walk to clear his head because he couldn't sleep, because he was too emotionally churned up. Did they play any audio from the neighbours? Yes, there was a whole phone call. So the majority of this live stream was actually the neighbour on the phone. So it starts there. The majority of this live stream was one of the neighbours who agreed to be recorded. One of them absolutely did not want to go on the record, but gave him some information. And then this neighbour agreed to be recorded. Okay. So the link to this live stream, if you want to go and listen to the call, if you haven't seen it already, is in the description box for replay viewers. And if you want to go and watch it now, right now, I won't hold it against you. There's the link. If you want to go and listen to the recorded call with the neighbour. Okay, so let's turn to this North Carolina issue. Because if this is Sebastian, if this absolutely is Sebastian, then it brings up a whole new set of theories that, some of which have been discussed previously, both on this channel and other channels, things like trafficking, being disappeared by Katie. That's one thing that has been talked about a lot. Now, I'm not saying I believe that particular theory, because if Katie was given an ultimatum by Chris, it's either me or him, and she chose Chris, then surely they'd just send Sebastian to Seth's. I don't see why they would need to go to elaborate lengths to send him away to some kind of remote family member and then make up a massive story about him being, run away or gone missing. I don't see why they would make up that story. Now, something that I did think after yesterday's video, like after I'd, uploaded it, and I always replay my videos. Like when I upload it, I replay it just in case there's any like errors or whatever in the recording. And it occurred to me that there's another theory that if Sebastian, and this is just a theory, just something I thought of, Veruska, thank you for joining. Welcome to the Secret Agents Club. Thank you. Thank you. It does look exactly like him. It so does. I think the nose shape's a bit different. But if I could find a picture of Sebastian looking down, it's the nose shape that makes me think that's not him. But it's so close. It's very convincing. And it is a genuine photo. I don't know. I don't care what anybody says. That is a genuine photo, in my opinion. But apparently the PIs have spoken to, we're going to play a little bit of the Pascal show in a minute, but apparently the PIs have spoken to the person who took the photo, and, you know, it's believable. You know, it's the person who took the photo. Sebastian's shoe size is much larger. You can't tell the shoe size on here, though. You can't tell the shoe size. Right arm longer. What do you mean, right arm longer? I think it's just the way he's standing, because that leg's bent. And then that leg's stretched out. Now, there is a photo that shows, like, this has been clipped a little bit. But when you see his leg, his kind of leg comes out. So that's bent. That's why it looks like his body and his arms are longer, because his leg's bent. Shoe size was 8. That looks like an 8 to me. Well, I'm size 8. So I'm 5 foot. 5'5". I used to be 5'7", but I'm 5'5" now. I've got size 8 feet, so that makes sense, because Sebastian's 5'5". The cop's not saying anything. This is the thing that's getting me a little bit now. Like, you can take it both ways, that the cops are not speaking out about it. Fairy goodness, member for 15 months, late to the party as usual. That's all right. You can catch up. 8 UK is 9 US. Size 8 men's and women's are different. I wear men's shoes mainly. Not exclusively. But if I buy men's shoes, I buy the same size. So an 8 UK, someone just said it's a 9 US. So a 9 would be a little bit big for me. I could wear a 9, depending on the style of the shoe. There's someone standing behind him with black hair. There is. But I think facing the other way. If you look at the ear. So there's someone facing the other way. Now, this woman who's created a lot of speculation, she could just be walking past. She might not have anything to do with this boy. Now, is he following her? I don't know. Possibly. Or she might just be unlucky. He was just walking by. So, I don't know. But the cop's not speaking. The cop's not coming out. Now, one of the, Nick Barris, let me just find it. I've not got this up, so I'll just find it. I showed this on my video yesterday, but Nick Barris posted a little bit on it. He posts a lot on Facebook. Okay, that's his live. All right. No. Dear me. He posts such a lot. All right. So he posted about the pants. Okay, that's all pants. Okay, I have a call in now to Sumner County Sheriff's detectives for confirmation one way or another. But for now, just like the photo of someone who looks like Sebastian in North Carolina, these pants. Oh, no. No, that was before he confirmed the pants weren't Sebastian's. So there's one I must have missed. Oh, here we go. So not Sebastian's pants. We talked about that. What about the photo of someone who looks like Sebastian at North Carolina Visitor Center? Authorities tell me they are still investigating that alleged sighting. So now, no word yet on whether they believe. So they were still investigating it. So this is yesterday. Now, apparently, the photo was taken last weekend. So would it take them a week to investigate? Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Absolutely, it might. Because you don't know what type of investigation they might need to do. I mean, getting the surveillance footage from the visitor centre, that's one thing. But if that's not, conclusive, if they don't have a good shot of him and they can't confirm who he's with and they can't confirm who the vehicle is that he's come from, then they may not be able to confirm it. They may have to do some kind of cell tower analysis to try to work out who was there. I mean, I don't know. I'm only speculating. They might not be able to confirm it. I find it interesting. I find it very interesting that this woman hasn't come forward. Like if she's nothing to do with this boy, like surely she'll recognize herself that she's not come forward to cops. She doesn't have to come forward to us and face the wrath of the internet. But the fact that she's not come forward to cops, I find very interesting. I do. I really do. But isn't it possible that, if these two were together, let's say they're on vacation and they're traveling, is it possible they're not even aware that they're being talked about? Yeah, absolutely. It's possible that they're not even aware that they're being talked about. If they're out on vacation, like, just, I don't know, doing some traveling or whatever. Stardust Shorty, thank you for the 2 Canadian dollars. Thank you so much. Just jumping in now. Did I miss a lot? Yeah. I've played a little bit from Crime Lines and Lies. Talked about Chris, what the neighbours are saying about Chris and his bad behaviour. Talked about an event tomorrow in Kingsport for Holly, Summer, Sebastian and Layla. And I'm just now starting to talk about this North Carolina sighting. I'm going to do a poll. All right. Do you think the sighting in North Carolina is Sebastian? Yes and no. Start poll. You leave it up for a few minutes because I'm 80-20 that it isn't. But stranger things have happened. But it really does create new theories. Like I was saying, and I got distracted. after my video yesterday, when I was playing it back, one of the things I thought of was, could there possibly be distant family members who found Sebastian online? Now, I know that the parents have said he's never allowed online and blah, blah, blah. But we know just how good teenagers are with tech. I do not believe he never had access to the internet. I don't believe it. I just don't believe it. I think he would have had access at school. He had access at Seth's. So is it possible that a distant family member had been talking to Sebastian online and Sebastian had disclosed to them about how badly he was being treated, and they came and rescued him? Is it possible? Yes, absolutely. Is it likely? I don't know. But there's issues with all the theories that we've got. There's issues with them all. Is it something a well-meaning family member might do? Possibly. Or somebody who, you know, a distant family member who's got some kind of dispute with Katie. And if that's the case, then Katie and Chris are innocent. They genuinely believe that he's run away or was abducted. I don't know. Barbie's 2 Blitz. Thank you for the $10. Thank you. Thank you. Entice me to follow your example as a deep thinker. Well, none of us knows. None of us knows. We're all theorizing. I have a double chin if I look down. Yeah, me too. Me too these days. Seth believes it's Sebastian. I'm going to play you a little bit from the Pascal Show. So this is from last night. So obviously Seth, and then this is the spokesperson. So he's called Tony Mathis. It's the first time he's spoken to anyone, and he's trying to get all the family to work together, and he's trying to stop there being this back and forth between Seth and Chris. So it's a very interesting interview. I was impressed by him. I think if it works out and, you know, Seth abides by how Tony wants to take this forward, and Chris and Katie get on board, I think it could work out really well. You know, it could help unite them. So I was quite impressed by this interview. So I will let you have this if you want to go and listen to it right now, if you want. And for replay viewers, this link is already in the description box. I'm going to start about 10 minutes in, 10 and a half minutes in, and I'm going to play about 10 minutes, something like that, 12 minutes. So this is them talking about the North Carolina sighting. And Seth does believe it's Sebastian. Now, is it because he wants to believe it's Sebastian? Personally despise Tony. I'd never met the guy. Well, never met the guy, but never seen the guy speak before. But he seemed very, businesslike. And if it works out, I think it's good to have someone who is businesslike and a little bit, distant from the family. Let's see how this poll's doing. So 266 votes. So 58 think it's him. 42 think it's not. Give it another minute and then I'm going to close the poll. But I'm erring on the side that it isn't. But I hope it is. And I think the fact that Seth so strongly wants it to be Sebastian, obviously, that might be swaying him. But I don't know. All right, so I'm going to play a little bit of this. I'm going to comment on it as we go. I'm going to close this poll. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. End poll. So 299 votes. 56 yes, 43 no. Very close, isn't it? You just want it to be him. You just want it to be him. Because he looks well. He does look well. He's not under duress by the looks of things. He's just so much want it to be him. Barbie's 2 Blitz, thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships. That's very kind, very, very kind of you. Rambling Rome, The Patter of Tiny Paws, Massland. Is that Massland? Daniel, Dina Lynn, the legendary. And Sonia, welcome everybody. Get a month's free membership courtesy of Barbie's 2 Blitz. Thank you so much. Very, very kind. How many have we got in chat? 1,174 people watching. Look, if we get 1,000 likes on this stream, and it is possible because there's over 1,000 people in the chat right now, 1,000 likes on the stream, I will give away 20 memberships at the end of the stream. Because that's what I do if we get 1,000 likes before the end of the stream. All right, so I'm going to start about 10.5 minutes in. And this is them discussing the North Carolina issue. There's no sound. Oh, StreamYard's doing its thing again. All right, it's easy to fix. You just refresh. Then I've got to find the place again. Okay. Can you hear that? Can you hear that now? I'm waiting for someone to say no. All right. Still can't hear it. No sound. All right. All right. All right. All right. We'll have to do it. We have to do it the old-fashioned way. Okay. Stop sharing. Stop sharing. And StreamYard's been doing this a lot this week. Right, it just like cuts the audio for no reason. Right, let's try it now.
With you guys, because of course I know you guys already know about this, but I want to confirm a few things. Okay, so here is the photo itself. Okay, of course this was found, or apparently there was a sighting.
I've got a yes and a no. I've still got a yes and a no. Right. We're good. We're good. All right. StreamYard's glitching all over the place at the moment. All right. Good. We're all good to go now.
At the visitor center at the Grandfather Mountain, Linville, North Carolina. Now, I'm very interested to know, in your personal opinion, Seth, since we have you here, do you believe this to be a sighting, like a legitimate sighting of Sebastian?
I believe so.
Okay. Now,
I jumped in my vehicle and drove to North Carolina.
I'm glad you mentioned that. So you drove all the way down to North Carolina to the actual space, to the place where this photo was taken. Was there anything in particular that you saw or anything of that sort before we get into the more finite details? Was there anything like to confirm that this was an actual sighting of someone and that this was not actual AI?
My private investigator, she did reach out and spoke to the person who took the picture and to the person that posted the picture.
Okay, so there was actual conversation with somebody who actually took this photo, right? Okay, so Tony, do you mind expanding a little bit on that for us?
I don't think that's AI generated. I really, really don't. And also, I don't think it's photoshopped. The reason being, when you Photoshop a picture in, so remove the background, so you just have the figure, and then you post the figure into another scene. What you don't have, unless you're very, very, very good at it, is things like shadows, like the shadow of his foot overhanging this rock. Like, it's just the little tiny things. The fact that all the shadows are consistent, like you got the shading across that side of his face. I absolutely believe this is a genuine photo. I really do. So, but is it Sebastian? I don't know.
Was not involved in I was involved in the conversation with Seth while he was almost all the way to North Carolina.
Okay.
And I told him that when he got there that he was probably going to be disappointed, that they probably would not. This is when we'd heard there was footage. And I explained to him that they were probably not going to share the footage with him. And when he got there, he kind of figured out that that's what the situation was. And I explained to him that it was new information, and until it was vetted, it was going to be held close to the chest. And quite frankly, I completely understood why law enforcement was doing that. And when they vetted that information, if it was information that they deemed to be relevant to be disseminated, then it would be disseminated to, to Katie and to Seth. But we've got to verify that is him, and they've got to do their homework, and we've got to be patient. But I completely understand why Seth, if I was a father, I'm in my vehicle and I'm on my way there just like he was.
Yeah, no doubt.
He used it as a great opportunity to hand out flyers, create some awareness, ask some questions. And, I was certainly proud of him for getting in the vehicle and heading right there, no questions asked, because that's the same thing I would have done.
It's absolutely the same thing I would have done as well. Like, he thought he could just turn up and get the surveillance video. And, law enforcement have beat them to it. Law enforcement's gone and got the surveillance, and it's an active investigation. They don't want this surveillance video, whatever it is, to get out. So that leads me to believe that actually this boy, whoever he is, was on the surveillance video. Because if he wasn't on the surveillance video, let's say for whatever reason the camera wasn't in the right direction, or he stayed outside and the camera going into whatever store it was or whatever building it was didn't catch him, it leads me to believe that he is on camera, or else law enforcement wouldn't have told the visitor centre not to share the surveillance. That's just my thinking. I might be wrong. Does anyone know if he has any relatives in North Carolina? Well, therein lies the rabbit hole, Corvette Sally. Therein lies the rabbit hole, because people have been doing a bunch of digging, and Katie definitely has family in Virginia, like the next state up. it's suspected there may be relatives in North Carolina. However, it depends on whether you believe that Katie Profoot is the daughter of an RSO that was brought up in Virginia, in North Carolina and Virginia. I did a video yesterday on it, and I'm kind of not wanting to reopen all of that because I can't discount it, but also I can't prove it. But the fact that law enforcement, the fact it's a week now and law enforcement haven't said it isn't him, I find interesting. Because if they got a good shot of him on the surveillance video and it was clearly not him, because he's looking down. And I agree with people who are saying that if it was AI generated, they'd get a better likeness, like they'd have a picture of him looking forward. So there was no dispute. If it was somebody, who was good at AI generation and had just made this up. But I don't know. I just don't know. Just don't know. Is there a timestamp on the photo? Yeah, there will be. The metadata of this photo, like the original photo. So once it's shared, then the timestamp on the, if I got the metadata from this photo, this is a screenshot that I've took from someone's video. So it's only the original that will have the actual timestamp. The actual timestamp of when it was taken. So the PIs who've spoken to the person who took the photo, well, they're just going to say, show us the metadata, show us the timestamp. Law enforcement will be able to just look at the timestamp on it. Who took the photo? Someone who was at the visitor center. We don't know who it was, but just someone who came out of the visitor center and saw this boy, was walking past and saw this boy and thought that looks like Sebastian and snapped a photo. The information is out there. What the information on the timestamp? Have we got an actual screenshot, though, of the metadata? Because I believe it was taken last Saturday, but I can't confirm that without seeing the metadata. Now, is there a way to fake the metadata? Possibly, but you have to know what you're doing. So the PIs believe it's a genuine photo, having spoken to the person who took the photo. So I'm not in any doubt. I'm not in any doubt that that isn't a genuine photo. So the question obviously is it Sebastian?
Right on. So when it comes to Seth, real quick, the conversation that your PIs had with the person who actually took the photo, what exactly did they say? What was the interaction like? How did they get this photo taken? So on and so on.
I wasn't privy to that conversation. My private investigator already knew that I was going to want the picture vetted, and she reached out. She did that prior to me asking. So when I turned around and asked her, she said she had already vetted the picture, and
okay,
loaded up and headed up there. When I got there, Tony was right. They would not let me see the video footage. So I took that opportunity to hand out flyers. Nobody knew my son was missing to begin with. It is North Carolina. It's outside of Tennessee. But I used the opportunity as I went up there. Every time I stopped for gas, use the bathroom, anything, hand out flyers the whole way up and the whole way back.
That's great. If nothing else, Like the 250 miles or whatever it is from, you know, where Sebastian lives to that visitor center in North Carolina, you know, distributing flyers all the way along that route. And then to people that he met, you know, to everyone that he met. Well, that's great for raising awareness. So if it's done nothing else, it's done that. Seth isn't allowed to see it, but he has to confirm the identity of the person in the video. Well, yeah, someone would need to confirm it. The lady who took the photo did call TBI 911 and never heard back, so she posted the pic. You see, the thing is, TBI don't give return calls unless they need to follow up with you. They don't have the time or the resources to return everybody's call. Somebody. So yeah, she did call the cops. Now I would have spoken. I would have shouted Sebastian to see whether he looked up. You've seen the metadata positive vibes. So what, you've actually seen the metadata from the original photo? Is it out there? If you remember, it was 2:53. Yeah, that's about the time I've heard on Saturday, so a week ago. Seth told a podcast that they wouldn't show him the video, but told him it was confirmed Sebastian. Rennie, which podcast? Which one? Trying to follow Seth around the internet is really difficult. Like, he pops up everywhere. So, which podcast? It's out on the Sebastian missing page. If you haven't got it from the actual person who posted the video, I'm not sure I believe it. I'm in a bunch of Sebastian Facebook groups. Hold on. I'm not going to try and find it now, but I'll have a look later. I'll have a look later, or else I'm going to get distracted. So I'm going to carry on playing this for a little bit more.
Well, I mean, I'm glad that you used your resources in the best way possible, right? And kept spreading the word even when you were down there and all your path back home or back to Tennessee. But can we talk about that?
Yeah, that's it. I think we would have heard if TBI confirmed it was Sebastian. Yeah, yeah, I agree. If it was absolutely confirmed, I think the TBI, if they'd absolutely confirmed it was him, I think they would have extended the Amber Alert. But I'm going to talk about that next. I'm just going to play a couple more minutes of this first.
That for a second. So you went all the way down there, right? You went all the way down to Linville, North Carolina, right? Because you saw this photo, you believe that it is to be that of Sebastian. You go down there, you ask, can I see the photo or can I see some footage? And they said no. Why did they do that, Seth? Do you know?
It's under investigation. They informed me that law enforcement had told them not to share the video until everything had been vetted. From my understanding, TBI reached out to North Carolina, what they classify as SBI, and asked for their assistance. And
Interesting.
it's under an investigation. They're not going to show it. They're not going to release it.
But I feel like naturally a lot of people are going to react the same way I'm thinking in my head. It's like, this is your biological son. You have rights, don't you? So why wouldn't they let you go and see this footage? Tony, can you expand on that a little bit?
So I broke this down for you earlier today, and I broke it down for Seth the other day, and Seth can answer this question as we play through this. If they show that video to Seth, and that video shows Sebastian walking into a vehicle and getting into a vehicle with a stranger, and Seth catches a glimpse of the license plate on that vehicle, Seth, what would you do in that situation?
Retrieve my son by any means necessary.
Exactly.
By any means necessary.
So yeah. That's why.
Okay. So that makes sense.
It does make sense. It does make sense that they're not going to show a parent a surveillance video if there's any chance whatsoever that that parent is going to take matters into their own hands, like hunting down the vehicle, hunting down the person who was in the vehicle. And they do know that Seth is very proactive. Rightly so. I mean, I would be reacting in exactly the same way that Seth would. Right? I would have been there trying to get the video. I would have been hounding them. I understand completely where Seth is coming from. But it leads me to believe that the cops have a very good handle on the situation, both from, understanding how Seth is, but that they have a strong belief it could be Sebastian, that they're taking it very seriously. Yeah, that's the other thing, Linda. He goes on social media. So he doesn't just chase down leads and does searches and, goes against what law enforcement advise parents to do. He's also all over social media. So Chris will absolutely make threats. Be careful. What's he going to do? He's 4,000 miles away. He can make as many threats as he wants. I'll if he wants to come to the UK, I'll agree to meet him. He can take a shot, but he'll only get one chance. Just saying. Just love how they find water bottles, bones, pants, glasses, water. The woman who found the pants, she called law enforcement. She waited there for 2 hours for someone to turn up who could actually wade into the creek and retrieve them. That's also possible, Mike. They're not showing Seth because it's another unrelated innocent child that they can't identify. That's another issue. That it could be that they can't identify, like they can't tell. They can't tell whether it's Sebastian or not. So they're going to have to work harder to try and identify this person. And if it isn't Sebastian and they show Seth and he goes hell for leather to find this person, and it could well be that it's a completely innocent family. Yeah, the pants aren't Sebastian's, yeah. We all so much want it to be Sebastian in that photo. I think we have to be realistic. I think the cops are taking it incredibly seriously. I think they have a suspicion it could be him, but they also, at this moment in time, can't confirm it's him. Because I think if they could confirm it's him, I think they would have expanded the Amber Alert. So I'm not going to play any more of Pascal, but it's an interesting interview. So the people who are asking who this guy is, Tony Mathis, he's the new spokesperson for the family. He's hoping to work with Katie and Chris as well. But he's trying to be kind of more businesslike and more formal with the media so that it looks, It just works better rather than Seth coming online and taking shots at Katie and Chris. And, you know, Brooks did her due diligence. I'm sure she did. I'm sure she did. Just before we go on to what SF Investigate said, there's another little piece here right at the end, and something Tony said. And it's something I said in a video when this picture first came out. And this is very, very, very important.
Two really great people lining up and going for the greater good, okay? Going for a collected goal, which I'm very excited about. One thing Darlene just said, if this is Sebastian, do you think he's in danger? If whoever has him feels like law enforcement is getting too close. Seth, since you were down there and you just came back from North Carolina, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think Sebastian is in danger right now?
Can't really tell much from the picture, but I mean, can't really tell much from the picture, but if it's Sebastian, he's alive. He's been fed. He's got clothes on.
No doubt. No doubt. It looks like brand new shoes. It looks like brand new shoes too. If he walked out with no shoes on, he's got new shoes. But go ahead, Tony. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, and you got a lot of smart people that watch your show, and you know, there's a reason that pieces of this investigation need to be kept close to the chest. That was a phenomenal question, and we've dealt with some things in our other case where, you know, people want to know why aren't they talking about this, that, whatever. Look, as long as there's a preservation of life component to a case, you have to keep things close to the chest that could make a potential abductor, kidnapper, whatever, nervous. Because if they get nervous, bad things happen. And the more people that talk about things and the more people that blow it all up over the world, the better the chance is that something bad could happen. So, you know, to your question, in the picture, that child in that picture does not look scared, unhappy, in danger, or anything else. But who knows what happens when that child gets in a car and goes back to wherever it is he's being kept. Nobody knows that. So everybody has to understand the reason law enforcement keeps certain things close to the chest is nobody knows what kind of danger we could be in.
Mm-hmm.
That's absolutely the point I was making in a video a few days ago now, when this picture first kind of blew up. That please, if you see someone that you believe is Sebastian or any other missing person, please don't post it online. Please don't. Because if that person is genuinely like being held against their will, or even if that person doesn't realize that they're being held against their will, and an abductor, kidnapper, whatever, will be watching social media. They absolutely will be watching social media. They'll be following this case. And if they suspect that law enforcement are onto them, they get nervous. So either they'll hide more, like they'll be long gone, so they'll not be in the state of North Carolina anymore. They'll be long gone. Or they can be so nervous that they actually do away with that person that everybody's looking for. So please do not in future. Now, this one's out. This one's out. The cat's out the bag. The genie's out the bottle. We can't put this one back. But in future, please, even if it's the most well-meaning thing you've ever done, please don't post it online. Even if you think that law enforcement are not taking it seriously, if you don't think the first agency that you send it to is taking it seriously, send it to all the agencies. Send it to the TBI, FBI, Sumner County, Henderson PD. Send it to everybody. Send it to your own local law enforcement. Send it to the law enforcement in the jurisdiction that you saw there. Just send it everywhere. Right? If you don't think you're being listened to, send it everywhere, but don't post it online, because if that person, if that's Sebastian and he's on his own and somehow has managed to hitch a lift to North Carolina and he sees himself and people talking about him, and he doesn't want to be found, he's going to go into hiding. He's going to disappear. And if he's in a kidnap scenario and, you know, they're letting him out, and let's say he's with a family member who's not going to do him any harm, who is misguidingly trying to keep him safe, it's still abduction, they've still committed a crime, they're going to hide even more. And in the worst case scenario, if it's a kidnapper, if it's an abductor who is holding him for nefarious reasons, it's going to make him very, very nervous, and it would put that person, that boy, if it is Sebastian, in danger, in more danger than they're actually in now. So just don't post sightings online. Please, please don't. So I'm really glad that he said that. Anyway, SF Investigates. Thank you, Krista, for the $49.99. You are so kind. Thank you so much. Like, we all want to know everything about the investigation, don't we? We all want to know. We want to talk about these things, and that's just natural. We're all invested in this case now. It's natural that we want to know. And why shouldn't we know? Well, because it's an active investigation. And if Sebastian's alive, and it's not just a recovery mission, if he's alive, if he's being held against his will, or he's been abducted by family members, or he's run away, for all the reasons, just don't post it online. However, SF Investigates. So he's a private investigator, not working on Sebastian's case, although he has been in contact with the PIs who are working on Sebastian's case. He's a bunch of cases. He's worked on Holland Snap's case from Kingsport. He's worked on Layla Santanello from Kingsport. So he is a registered PI, you know, verified, whatever you call it, accredited PI in the state of Tennessee, but he's not working on Sebastian's case. But he does regularly comment. And I thought that this post here on Twitter was a very thought-provoking one and interesting. So there has been no update to the Amber Alert this week, such as adding a vehicle or abductor description. So it seems likely that TBI and Sumner County have dismissed the photo that's thought to be Sebastian. So that gave me some food for thought, because if they had managed to confirm by whatever means that sighting was Sebastian, and they believed he was with someone who'd abducted him, they'd have extended the Amber Alert to North Carolina. Surely they would, wouldn't they? Because it would be be on the lookout for a description of this person, whether it's the woman in the photo, whether it's someone else, that, you know, the woman might be completely irrelevant. She might have just been walking by, or a vehicle that Sebastian was seen getting into. They'd add that to the Amber Alert. They'd extend the Amber Alert and add to it. They'd add a vehicle description. They'd have an abductor description. So that gave me pause. Because, like I've been saying, you know, they must seriously be considering it to be a credible sighting. Maybe it's because they can't confirm the identity that they haven't added to the Amber Alert. Maybe they're still not sure. Maybe they're still investigating, and that's why they haven't added to the Amber Alert. So it may not be that they've dismissed it, because I think if they dismissed it, I think they would have said, I think they would have either made a, you know, even if it's just a tweet, even if it's just something on Facebook, even if it's just, you know, telling Nick Barris to spread it, because they do seem to talk to Nick. They haven't done. So I don't think they've dismissed it, but at the same time, I don't think they've confirmed it either. Yeah, Linda, they would have said they've discounted it. But it's just a different angle to think about. Considering the urgency associated with Amber Alerts, where every second is crucial, it would be negligent to still be assessing this lead. So I now assume it's not him. I'm not going to go that far. Although I don't think it's him, like an 80-20 that it isn't him, I'm not going to dismiss it because they haven't added to the Amber Alert yet. Because if they can't confirm that it's him, if they're still unsure, then it would be remiss of them to add details to the Amber Alert that absolutely were not confirmed. So I think they are still working on this. So he just gives a hypothetical. If I was hypothetically advising Chris and Katie, though I'm not, I'd revert back to my plan to drone map the entire 50% probability arc, which is 1 mile, so 1 mile radius in this case. Specifically, it's crucial to inspect every outbuilding, piece of farm equipment and abandoned vehicle meticulously, especially since Sebastian Rogers has a history of hiding under such objects. Utilizing parcel owner data, a dedicated team of volunteers should contact every landowner who has water bodies, outbuildings, or significant equipment on their property to arrange for thorough checks or rechecks by small search teams. Based on the tactical brief for missing individuals with autism, these structures are critical. I would prioritize searching within the 50% probability area before expanding to the area between 50 and 75%, so 1 miles to 2.4 miles, like radius. For this much more expanded area, proper planning using decision point planning from certified search planners ensures team assets are deployed to areas of higher probability, but only after every inch within the 1 mile radius has been thoroughly examined. I have attached the tactical brief again, along with the search zones, so in 25%, 50%, 75% areas. It all becomes clear when you see the map. Okay, and the parcel from landowners. Advice I would give to Chris and Katie. I know Seth has his own searches using their own techniques, but the more trained searchers out there, the better at this point, considering it's more than 60 days. I still believe that if Sebastian tragically is not alive, then he will be found within 1.5 miles of the last seen location of the house. I agree. To drone map the entire 50% arc and get the searchers in for expanded decision point planning, I would advise Chris and Katie to attempt to raise $50,000 to $70,000. What? Because that's what it would realistically cost. I think if it was all volunteers, I don't think they'd have to raise that amount of money. But he's into kind of this stuff. So I want to show this map. So that's the immediate vicinity. I think we can be sure he's not there within 0.4 miles. Within 1 mile goes to there. So it goes 1 mile out, goes to the power line. That's like a power line cut through the woods. And then if you go further out, that's 2.4 miles. Can't even see it on this picture. If he's out there, right? If that picture, if that sighting in North Carolina is not Sebastian, I'll revert to my original hypothesis that he's north, that he's deceased and he's north. So there's the house. It's somewhere in this wooded area. I think it could even be further out than the 2.4 miles, although I'm not sure. But I think I would check this first, then I would go here, I would go here, I would go here. And then once you've searched that and you're confident, and I know they've searched it already. However, so many things get missed in woodland, in terrain that's thick. It's so easy. I believe he's in a ravine or he's in a hole, and that's why it's been more difficult to find him. I'll just refer you, as I always do, to the Bryn Hargreaves case from West Virginia. And he was in a wooded area for 14 months, 300 yards away from his house. And the entire woods have been searched numerous times. And somebody found him by chance. And he'd gone down like a small ravine. And he'd just been missed for 14 months. So it's possible. So I think he's within this area. Within there. If he ran away or he went for a walk and got into trouble. But if he's if this is him, then it opens up a brand new set of theories. But realistically, if it's not him, if it can be confirmed that it's not him, I think he's in these woods. And I will continue to maintain that I think he's in these woods. There's an interesting... So what Steve has done here is got the parcel information. So for people who want to go searching, then there's the TBI tax assessor website, shows you who owns which piece of land. So obviously don't go on private property unless you've got permission, but these are manageable parcels. You know, if they could get a team to search, you know, each parcel in turn, I think it's manageable. You know, because a lot of this is like open fields. I think it's the wooded areas where special attention needs to be. So that's where I'm going to maintain he is, there, somewhere in there, because he wouldn't be caught on cameras. Like there's a few houses there, but if he's in the woods, that's why he's not caught on any cameras. So I thought that was interesting post. I have retweeted it on Twitter for anybody who wants to go and study it, if you're on Twitter. But it's on SF Investigates. He does post a lot. So if you can't find it on his post, then I have retweeted it. You said people shouldn't post photos out of the safety issues for Sebastian, but you said I would have yelled Sebastian to see if he looked, also putting him in danger. Yeah, but if he looked, then I would immediately have called the cops. So actually, no, it doesn't. Because you're not going to shout Sebastian and then he's going to look at you or answer you and then you're just going to walk away. You're not going to do that, are you? No. You're going to immediately, as soon as you get a reaction, immediately you call 911 and you continue to observe that person. If they run and get into a vehicle, then you get the license plate number. So the cops are on their tail. And yes, of course, if they get away, that puts them in increased danger. But it's not the same as posting a picture all over the internet. Yeah, bring in the Tennessee National Guard for a weekend. Absolutely. I agreed. And although some of this is, difficult terrain, it's not massively bad. It's not like you're putting your life in danger. They could have the National Guard out, they could have law enforcement out, they could have volunteers, working alongside. I think they could find him. within a few days if he's there and they concentrate their efforts. So look, he's even put the names of the homeowners on. This is good work. This is good work. But don't just wander in, you know, get permission from the landowner. And I think everybody's been really good about people searching on their land. So I don't anticipate that they'd have to get search warrants or anything like that. I anticipate that they would give permission. And, you know, if it was volunteers working alongside professionals, I just want this area searched as, like, literally as thoroughly as it can be to discount it. Because if they can come along and say, look, we've gone through every inch of this particular area and he is not there, then I'll start looking elsewhere. You know, theoretically, start looking elsewhere. But until that area of woodland, that area there of woodland has been absolutely 100% gone over with a fine-tooth comb, and I know they've searched it previous, but I would just want it completely recanvassed. And then, you know, these houses can check their own. You know, he might have crept into a barn or under something, and I don't know. EquiSearch have done a lot. EquiSearch have been doing this drone stuff. But drones are great, but they do have their limits. They absolutely have their limits. So yeah, so that's what I wanted to chat about. But I hope law enforcement give us something. You know, in the next few days, I hope they give us something. Because this sighting is just going to rumble on and on and on until law enforcement give us something. You know, if they just say, like, we've checked it out and it's definitely not him, we can confirm it's not him, then we can put that one to bed. And the longer they don't, the longer they don't do that, the more I'm going to anticipate that it could be. But this is the TVI we're talking about, Stanley. Yeah, there is that. There is that. They don't tell us very much, do they? But Nick Berris seems to have a good relationship with the deputies at Sumner County Sheriff's Office. So I think Sumner County would let them know. You know, if they absolutely knew, if they tracked down who the people were and they got an ID from this young man and they absolutely know it's not him. I mean, they may have even found him and said, would you do a DNA test? You don't know. They may be waiting for DNA results. We don't know. The charges Katie's mother has really concerns me. I didn't want to talk about it because I did it in my video yesterday. Do we absolutely 100% know that this RSO is Katie's mother? Because I can't discount it based on the actual primary sources, but also I can't prove it. No poll popped up. The poll was like ages ago. So Kitty, you must be behind in the chat. I ended the poll ages ago. So anyhow, I'm going to go. So if you want to see the sources that I included in my video yesterday about this alleged mother, the RSO mother. Like I said, I can't discount it, but also I can't prove it based on the primary sources available. Yeah, just because it looks like Katie, that's not good enough. Sent my video to Katie's dad, waiting to hear back. Okay. I mean, he would know. He would know. Yes, it's right. How? Where's I can't say your name. Yes, it's her mum. Who? Right. Where's the source? We need a primary source. All right. I'm just going to do it. I didn't want to get into this in this live stream, but all right. But I'm going to just briefly. If you want the discussion, then go to yesterday's video. But I'm just going to briefly show you. All right. So when I talk about a primary source, I mean a record, an actual birth record, a marriage record, a death record, those records, actual records, formal records, like primary sources, not just what someone says on a video. All right. So we know that there's someone called Suzanne Rosenbaum, who is Sebastian's great-grandma. So one of Sebastian's great-grandmas. So we know Rosenbaum is a family name, right? Okay, we got that. We also know that Dave Payne is Katie's dad, right? We know that. So we know Katie's dad. We know Katie's great-grandma, or one of them. All right. Now, Sebastian's great-grandma is called Suzanne Rosenbaum, but that's her married name. Her maiden name was Evelyn Suzanne Turney, married Donald Eugene Rosenbaum. All right. So we know that those are two of Sebastian's great-grandparents, based on the words of Suzanne Rosenbaum herself. So this is the marriage record, and it happened in Pasquotank, North Carolina in 1970. Now, we have this person called Frances Suzette Rosenbaum, who people are claiming is Katie's mother. So the claim is that this RSO, Frances Suzette Rosenbaum, is the daughter of Donald Rosenbaum and Suzanne Turney. Her grandma also confirmed it on her own Facebook page. Yes, but where's the link? Look, I've just said, yes, this is the great-grandma's Facebook page. This is her Facebook account, Suzanne Rosenbaum. My granddaughter's son is Sebastian, who's missing. However, listen carefully. Listen. We can confirm that the person who is Sebastian's great-grandma is this person, and this is his great-granddad. Right? Got that so far. That's confirmed from a source, an actual source. All right. But what I do not have is a confirmation that Frances Suzette Rosenbaum is actually the daughter of Suzanne Turney and Donald Rosenbaum. I do have a birth record for her. So she was born on the 16th of July, 1969, but there's no parents' names on this source. Oh, I can't see anything. Oh, damn it. Why not? Why can you not see anything? That's so weird. Right. Can you see it now? Hold on. Yeah, you can see it now. All right, cool. Cool. So, start again. Sorry about that. Suzanne Rosenbaum is Sebastian's great-grandma. Cool. All right. We know that Rosenbaum is Suzanne Rosenbaum's married name. She was Evelyn Suzanne Turney, married Donald Eugene Rosenbaum in 1970. This is a a marriage record. This is the record. I could click on this if it wasn't a screenshot and actually get the record. Okay. Now, the claim is that this RSO, Frances Suzette Rosenbaum, is Katie's mother. So what we have to find is the link between Frances Suzette Rosenbaum and these two people. Right? And at this moment in time, I cannot confirm that this person, Frances Suzette Rosenbaum, is the daughter of Suzanne Turney and Donald Rosenbaum. I do have a birth record for Frances Suzette Rosenbaum, who was born on the 16th of July, 1969. But this is the only source from Virginia birth records, but it's the delayed birth records. So I can't, there's no source attached to it that I can see. So I've no parents' names for this person. So if you can confirm that Frances Suzette Rosenbaum is the daughter of Suzanne Turney and Donald Rosenbaum, please send it to me. But it has to be a primary source, not just what someone said on YouTube or TikTok. A primary source, right? So a birth record, a marriage record, those kind of things. Census record, those kind of things. Okay. All right. So we do know when she was born. We know where she was born, but we don't know her parents' names. Now, the other thing I found was that Frances Suzette Rosenbaum did have a daughter in 1989 called Catherine Lynn Rosenbaum. Dun, dun, dun. However, I can't confirm that that is Katie Proudfoot. Because believe it or not, there are several Catherine or Katie Rosenbaums out there. There's also several Catherine or Katie Paynes out there. So is this, you can't just say it is. You can't just say it is. You have to prove it. You have to prove it. So we know that Frances Suzette Rosenbaum had a daughter in 1989 called Catherine Lynn Rosenbaum. What we can't confirm is that this is Katie Proudfoot. We can't confirm that based on this record. Is Katie's middle name Lynn? Yes. Okay. We also, as I said, can't confirm that Frances Suzette Rosenbaum is the daughter of Sebastian's great-grandma. So, although I can't discount it, I also can't prove it based on primary sources. How can you send stuff? You can send stuff to my email, which is, I'm going to post it in here. I don't like posting my email because I very rarely check my emails. But if you send me some stuff today, I'll promise to check my email. But it has to be a primary source, not a link to someone's YouTube or someone's TikTok, a primary source. So like a birth record, a marriage record, a census record, something like that. Only Katie matters, not her ancestors. Exactly, Wiz. Thank you. Because that's how I ended my video yesterday. Why does it matter? Right. Even if we can confirm that this is Katie's birth mother, even if we can confirm that, what does it matter? Shouldn't we be feeling sorry for Katie if she was brought up for part of her childhood with someone who's an RSO? Shouldn't we be feeling sorry for her? Shouldn't we be suspecting she was a victim? So why does it matter? So even if we can confirm that this is actually Katie Proudfoot's mother, why does it matter? Why does it matter? But I can't confirm that that's her mother based on primary sources. I also can't confirm that these are her parents. So I'm stuck. So thank you, Shelley. Thank you for the $5. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Katie was a victim age 12, I believe. Yeah, because that's what that's what people are talking about, but we can't prove it. We can't prove that the Catherine Lynn Rosenbaum, who was the daughter of Francis Suzette Rosenbaum, is Katie Proudfoot. Feel sorry for her if this was her life? Absolutely. So even if this woman is Katie Proudfoot's mother, why does it matter? Exactly. Can't confirm it unless you get vital records, birth, marriage, death, divorce, etc. Thank you. Thank you. Ask Seth. Seth might not know. The person who might know would be Dave Payne, who is Katie's dad. But why does it matter? You know, why does it matter in terms of what happened to Sebastian? Thank you, Shaker Maker, for the $1.99. That's very kind of you. Genealogists and love genetic genealogy. Yeah, I love it as well. I've been doing my own family history since 2006. On one line, I've got all the way back to before the Norman Conquest. So before 1066. It matters because of the woman in pink. Oh, yeah. But the woman in pink, so by woman in pink, we mean, hold on, this woman. Oh, wrong one. This one. This woman. Like, people are saying that this woman is Francis Suzette Rosenbaum or another family member. But what if this woman is just some innocent passerby? Seen a post from sister that she has nothing to do with her mother. If her mother is scorned because of that, it could be a motive. Whose sister? Katie's sister. I haven't seen that. Back to 1436. That's good. Genealogy is fascinating. Paternal grandma was part of a group that focused on it. Yeah. It cost me $25 for the correct birth certificate. It's definitely her mum. I know it doesn't matter. I'm just letting you know that you are right. And it's her, but I'll email you. Okay. That'd be great. But again, I don't know. Don't know what to say. What does everyone think of the photo? Oh, Holly, I'm just about to get off here. So rewind the live. And why did the woman in pink not come forward? As I said earlier, maybe she has to the cops. Maybe she has. Or maybe she's not even aware that she's being talked about. You know, it could be that she's just on vacation and she's absolutely no clue what's being said. Yeah, that's the way I kind of see it. It appears that the kid is walking towards going inside and the lady in pink is leaving. It does look like that, doesn't it? Like he looks like he's watching his step, but he's going in that direction. And then she's just walking along. Now, he could be stepping down and then going to go that way. But she might just be, you know, she's photobombed. She's photobombed. And she's completely irrelevant. And then there's a dude behind here who looks like he's facing the other way. So, it doesn't help us, really. On the fence against the photo, me too. But I'm erring on the side that it isn't him. But I look, hopefully in the next few days, we'll get law enforcement coming out and saying it's not him. They've confirmed it's not him. If that happens, then we can put that to bed. If they confirm it is him, but they haven't located him, then they'll extend the Amber Alert. They have to. They have to extend the Amber Alert. But they have to confirm it's him first. Thank you, Elf, for joining. Welcome to the Secret Agents Club. Thank you, thank you. Katie's stepdad and his daughter murdered a man, and he married one of the daughters. What? Katie's stepdad. Who's Katie's stepdad? Go on, I'll bite. I think I know who you're talking about. You're talking about McClure, aren't you? But we can't confirm that the woman who married Larry McClure is Katie's mother for the reasons I've just said. Law enforcement was called. Law enforcement was called, Sarah. But only after, like she sent the photo to the TBI. The end of the world is nigh. Just hit the button. Hit the like button to save us from destruction. That's true. They need a clear license plate of the car. They do. Autumn McClure was in Summers' case, kidnapped as well. Not by anyone related to the Summers case. That case was solved. Autumn McClure was murdered by her boyfriend. Her body was found, buried in, like, under a building or under a trailer or something. So her body was found after many, many, many years. Nothing to do with anybody connected to the Summer Wells case. Google Larry Paul McClure. I know who you're talking about, Susan. I know who you're talking about. It's her second husband. However, unless we can get absolute proof that she is Katie's mother, then Larry McClure is nothing to do with Katie. It's not her stepdad. Katie used the alias Katie McClure. Are you just making this stuff up now? Because we know that this woman had a daughter called Catherine. What we can't confirm is that this is actually Katie Proudfoot. But even if it is, even if this is Katie Proudfoot, even if it is her, why does it matter in relation to why Sebastian went missing or how to locate Sebastian. How does it matter? Yeah, 1,053 days, and I still pray today is the day for summer. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. All right. I didn't mean to get into that, but I am going to go now. So thank you all. Thank you all for joining me. Hope you found this interesting. Thank you to you guys that donated. Welcome to the new members. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And yeah, thanks as always to the mods. Michelle, one of your commenters is sending you the correct birth certificate. Well, I'll check before I go. Not come through yet. But I'll check later. But even if you have a birth certificate saying that, oops, don't want to open my music. Even if you've got a birth certificate proving that Catherine Lynn Rosenbaum is the daughter of Francis Suzette Rosenbaum, can you prove that Catherine Lynn Rosenbaum is Katie Proudfoot? Can you prove it? From a birth certificate, can you prove it? All right, guys. On that note, I gotta go. Gotta go and do some stuff. So, yeah, enjoy the rest of your day or your evening. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, folks.